Hey, what's up, VC? It's Steve again, Harmless Rebel. This is going to be my response to Brandon's 6,000 subs contest. Man, I have been in the VC for about 6 years now, I guess, 5.5 years. And Brandon was probably one of the first three guys that I subscribed to. And at that point, he had already been in the VC for 3 or 4 years. I think he's probably the longest consistent member of the VC that there is. He did take a break for 6 or 7 months for a period there about a year and a half ago. But other than that, he's been definitely the most consistent. We did have Lazarus to just pop back. I think he popped up about the same time, if I remember correctly. But maybe Daryl Washington, but he's gone back and forth. He'll come on for a while, disappear for a while. Regardless, this is 6,000 subs contest, so I wanted to do a quick video. He had a couple questions for us, so let me pull them up real quick. A song with scary lyrics or lyrics that creep you out. The only song I can think of that's ever kind of made me uncomfortable, or just the album in general, was Once Upon a Cross from Deicide. That was the first album that I played where I heard the lyrics and it just made me uncomfortable. And if you're familiar with that album, you'll know why. It's a very anti-Christian album, but to the extreme. They've got songs called Kill the Christian. I can't even remember the names of the songs. And then there's a picture of Jesus eviscerated under a cloth on the cover. So it's pretty gnarly stuff. But that's the one that's really made me uncomfortable. And maybe it was because I could understand the lyrics too, because there's been a lot of black metal that I've listened to over the years that if I knew what they were talking about, it may make me uncomfortable. But it just never really did like that did. And that was the first album that really did that. Let's see. What's the most stressful part of collecting process? Probably just the money, and not so much the amount that I spend, the direction that the prices are going and how fast they're going up. That's one of the definite downsides of the vinyl resurgence, is stuff that 2 years ago I could get for 10, $12 is now 25, $30. I just saw some of the Striper albums that I was looking for that you could find pretty easily for $45, $50 that are like $150, $180 now in okay condition. I mean, the prices have just gotten astronomical. And it's honestly, it's just ridiculous. And the worst is the Kiss albums and the Beatles albums, because there were millions of copies made and you see them everywhere. But the prices are just going up and up and up, and it's just insane. So probably the money side of it. 3 albums that played a significant part in 3 major events in your life. So I pulled out these 3. So this was the first new album that I owned. I had used borrowed copies of my dad's cassettes. My dad would would copy a lot, because he had borrowed cassettes from friends and copy them. And he had a pretty good record collection himself. Does actually have a pretty good record collection himself. But this was the first album that I got brand new that was just mine. And I played this nonstop. And I haven't listened to this in years, but I could throw this on right now, and I know every single word to every single song. But this was the first album that I would say this is the album that really got me into music. And I just, like I said, I played it over and over and over again. And it's business as usual from Men at Work. And I got this when it came out. And actually the way it happened was the Christmas of the year that this came out, my dad got this for a friend of ours, his son. His name was George. And he gave it to him at a Christmas party about a week before, maybe 2 weeks before Christmas, at his house, and he already had a copy of it on cassette. So my dad ended up taking it back, giving him the Scorpions cassette, and this was one of my presents for Christmas, was the copy of Men at Work that he had bought for George. So like I said, this was really the first album that I remember. And I had other albums before this. I had other cassettes before this that were like copies of my dad's stuff, or copies that I had made. But this is the first album that I really remember just playing over and over and over again. So probably the one that started the bug for me. Next up, these two are kind of related. Next up is A Perfect Circle. What's the name of this? I always get the name backwards. Morde Noms. I always say it. Murde Noms. Murde Noms. I don't know. I don't speak French. So the night I met my wife, I met her and 2-3 of her friends, and we met at a club, a dance club in Tokyo. And it started raining, and as we were talking, I found out that they lived about 2 miles from me, which is about 30 miles from downtown Tokyo where we were. So they would have had to wait until 6 o'clock the next morning. This is about 3 in the morning. They would have had to wait till about 6 o'clock in the morning, and then take about a 2-hour train to get back home. So I offered to take them home, and this album was playing in my car. This was in my CD player. Let's see, when did this come out? This had to have been, yeah, this was new, because I met my wife in 2000. So this would have been brand new at the time. But this was playing in my car the night that I met my wife, and that drive home, while we were talking, this album was playing, and I always remember this, or I always remember that night when I listened to this. So, Perfect Circle. And then, last but not least, actually, this may have been maybe our second or third date. We went to that same club in Tokyo, and right outside of the club is a pizza place. And this song was playing at the pizza place, and my wife fell in love with the song, and this ended up being our first dance song at our wedding. So you've got Slowhand from Eric Clapton, and of course the song is Wonderful Tonight. So that's those 3 1 to 5 songs about places that you have actually been. So how can we not do this one? Alive 2, the very first song, Detroit Rock City. I've been to Detroit a number of times. Same with this next one. The song off of this album is the title track, Anima, which is basically about how LA needs to be flushed out, wiped out, destroyed, and started over. Amazing song, amazing album. So that's 2. I did 4 of these. The next one is from Brent Cobb. Brent Cobb is a really good outside of Nashville country music artist. His brother is really big for, he's a really important producer. He produces Sturgill Simpson. He did Wheeler Walker Jr., obviously Brent Cobb. Who else did he do? Shooter Jennings. So Dave Cobb is the producer. This is his brother. I don't know if this is his first or second album. I just picked this up recently. It's from 2016. Really killer album. It was actually Billy that turned me on. Billy Hurst that turned me on to this album. I'm really digging. I want to find it on vinyl now. And then last but not least, from Leijão Urbana, the album is Dois, which is number 2, and the song is Central do Brasil. If you guys want to dabble into Brazilian music, this band is an absolutely amazing place to start. The band as a whole has this really cool juxtaposition where it sounds like this beautiful romantic music, but when you see the translation of the lyrics, it's really dark stuff. His voice is amazing. The singer Renato Russo has a very similar story to Freddie Mercury, and this is kind of the Brazilian version of Queen. Just a really amazing band. But the singer was gay, ended up getting AIDS early on. He lived a little bit longer than Freddie Mercury. I want to say he lived into the late 90s. I can't remember off the top of my head, but really killer music, really beautiful, really dark. Highly recommend it. Let's see. Ask two people you have never spoke about what their three favorite bands were. So I did this at my wife's work. She works at one of the high-end nail and wax salons in downtown Atlanta. Oh, did I show what the Brent Cobb song? I'm sorry. I don't think I said what the song was. The song is South of Atlanta. I live north of Atlanta. I've been south of Atlanta a whole lot. So anyway, I ended up talking to three of the girls just because they were kind of bunched together that my wife works with. And they're all Vietnamese, I believe. One may be Cambodian, but I believe they're all three Vietnamese. But they're American born, speak perfect English. So all three of them listed Bon Jovi as their favorites. Two of them listed Zeppelin. One listed The Doors. Then we've got Ariana Grande. Actually, one of the girls did Bon Jovi, Ariana Grande, and Whitney Houston. One of the girls did Bon Jovi, The Doors, and Zeppelin, and the other one did Zeppelin, Floyd, and Bon Jovi, because they all three did Bon Jovi. So did that, and then let's see. So Brandon asked for a little mini room tour. So my office is trash right now. However, what the heck? So as you can tell, I've been doing some cleaning, record cleaning right now. So got the acoustic guitar there. Big old stack of 45s. Les Paul. Nothing has changed with my setup. I just did a room tour a few months ago if you guys want to go and check that out. This is all the albums that I just finished cleaning, and I still have another stack over next to my desk. So that's the CDs, and that's pretty much it, guys. Let's see, I got more records. Those are the ones that I haven't cleaned yet. Got some here that are set aside for videos. A whole bunch of CDs that I just haven't gotten around to. That is pretty much it. Take care, VC.